This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
The Fan and Sukup Manufacturing bring you Fan on the Farm starting May 19th. 9 to noon will be taking your tractor talkbacks. Each day, one farmer will be chosen to receive a Sukup prize pack, including a Carhartt cooler and a Brewmate Growler canteen. Get full details, kfan.com/farm. Sukup Manufacturing Company, helping farmers feed and fuel the world.
Here comes beloved Nacho Lieber at Nacho Lieber via the tweet machine, courtesy of Maple Grove Lock and Safe. Don't forget Twin Cities Live today, 3 to 4:30, each and every weekday on Channel 5. And for the Viking schedule portion of the equation, so the Dublin-London week and a half bit goes official. And at Nacho Lieber, you tweeted, ugh. Why?
That was... See, here's the thing where I think I catch myself in a little bit of a conundrum because, you know, my X handle / Twitter handle is my own personal feelings, right? Not affiliated with anybody else.
Of course.
So when I sent that out there, I'm talking about for me personally.
Of course.
And so ugh is, I don't necessarily, because of my work with Twin Cities Live, I don't want to have to take those vacation days in between to be there for 10 days.
Hey,
listen, if all I was doing in life was just handling the Viking stuff, and my kids weren't at an age where I want to catch my senior daughter's volleyball games and all this other stuff, then I would love the 10 days away. Mm-hmm. But when I look at it personally, I'm like, I want to be there for my kids to see what they're doing. I'm sure I'll be missing, a football game or two for both the boys, and volleyball for my daughter's her senior year, plus Twin Cities Live stuff. I took it as like, ugh, I don't know if I want to be there for 10 days.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of people that took that as like, well, ugh, as in like that's not good for the Vikings, or like why wouldn't you be happy about getting a work trip in in Dublin and London? I'm like, that's probably true. Yeah. That's probably true.
Well, I know exactly what it was, but since we're fan raised, well, we're born to tease. So therefore, that's why it's the first thing to come up here to, you're indefatigable. You're not generally one of the anxiety mode, but I could just sense from reading that tweet, it's like, ugh, because you won't be there the entire time. Like, any details on how the week and a half is going to work? Like, do we have Dublin time to get north to the Game of Thrones set?
See, that's the thing is like,
yes.
I don't. So to answer your question, I don't know any of those details. I would imagine that we'll treat the front end of the trip just like we treat every other London game. Leave on that red eye on Thursday night, get there Friday, power through Friday, have the guys do, their practice in the afternoon, all the normal stuff, do the walkthrough Saturday, game on Sunday. I don't know if that we're going to stay in Dublin for a couple days and go to London again Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday.
Right.
My guess is we'll probably leave Monday night from Dublin, have Tuesday off in London, and then just start a normal game week in London, wherever we stay. Maybe that beautiful resort that we stayed in the last time, an hour north of the city. That's kind of how I imagine it would be. So to get part to where you're talking about with the touring of Ireland, I would love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Here we come.
If we stayed in Ireland for a little while.
There he goes.
And we go to the countryside,
yes.
get a couple pubs, do the Guinness tour, all that stuff.
I'd imagine I will be doing a slew of radio shows from there.
9 to noon.
How many do you think you'll join?
As many as you want.
Oh, so you think you might be there the full time?
I don't. I mean,
wow.
The thing is, like, I don't.
Right.
I don't know. I have not. I mean, listen, we're 24 hours into this thing.
I understand.
I haven't looked at. I haven't even talked to my bosses at Twin Cities Live about what that would look like.
Yeah. But the Dublin-London back-to-back scenario is giving you a little bit of anxiety.
Sure, it is. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Admittedly, so it is a little bit, and for all the reasons I just mentioned. Now, does it give me a little anxiety if I leave on a flight on Sunday night and I'm back for work and family Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then fly out again on that red eye on Thursday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's 4 cross-ocean trips in 10 days.
Yeah, that's a lot. And that would be all on my own dime, which I don't want to do either.
No, we can't have you do that.
No.
You need to be at the Game of Thrones set with yours truly and the Guinness tour.
How could you do that if you got to do all the radio shows? You wouldn't be able to do that.
Radio shows begin at 3 in the afternoon. London and Ireland time.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of time from 6 in the morning up till 2:30 in the afternoon. We got a lot of time.
Yeah, but how far is that set from like downtown Dublin?
Yeah, what's the connection like in Winterfell?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I did not think it was close.
I'm hoping it's 90 minutes or less. Well, now I have anxiety. So much for the McVay O'Connell preseason sideline masterpiece we were crafting. We don't even play the Rams, and here's the genesis of the bit. Is I thought the 2 of the Vikings preseason games, and didn't talk about it on the radio because I was asked not to, would be at home against New England and at home against the Rams. So then when chatting about that with the head coach who used to coach with the Rams, it was like, wouldn't it be cool if Kevin O'Connell joined the simulcast, the TV radio bit, did what he did last year, but Sean McVay was also there talking about the Rams plays, and like Nacho Lieber's down on the field kind of guiding it. I got so excited about that because I think it was a real possibility, but then the Rams don't even show up on the preseason schedule.
I know. It was a great thought. It would be a great bit. And I really think that they would have played along with it too, because it's his preseason. You know?
It was dreamy.
Yeah, it's great.
It was going to be McVay or O'Connell, okay, here comes a screen left to Ty Chandler. We really need Blake Brandel to get out there first and get your linebacker so-and-so Witherspoon. And then McVay would be talking about the defense he's using to stop the play. It would have
been great.
Yeah, maybe Callahan for the Titans will do it. Or, Vrabel and O'Connell. They're old school. That could be. Vrabel seems like the kind of guy that would acquiesce to that. Ben Leber at Nacho Lieber via Twitter. What if they have a joint in Nashville? It's the point I'm getting at here is I think joint practices, if you can have 2 of them, would only greatly benefit J.J. McCarthy into the regular season. So I don't have any confirmation on any joint practices. But if they had joints against New England here and then at Tennessee or something like that, I think that would help the kid a lot.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, you and I have talked about this before, that we all know we're going to be at 18 games pretty soon. And then when that happens, they'll get rid of another preseason game. So it's still going to be 20 opportunities throughout the regular season / preseason. Mm-hmm. So that number doesn't change. But I think it becomes even more important to have these joint practices because those will act as half game-like reps. And so if you add it all up, maybe in totality, if you're looking at your starters and your competing number 2s, they may end up getting the same number of competitive reps that they would with 3-4 preseason games.
Right.
So if that's a way to negotiate it, NFL gets what they want. They get the 18 games. The coaches and the players get the competitive spirit that they need to get ready for the 18 games and to see if they can beat out a spot or 2 and kind of craft your best 53. I do think the joint practices become even more important, not just for guys like JJ, but for everybody. For the guy that is, a fringe player that's trying to make the team. Maybe there's a guy. Heck, maybe there's a guy at left guard who started last year that, may be feeling the heat because they have a fancy first-round draft pick that, on paper looks like he's going to take his job. And you want as many opportunities as you can to showcase yourself that, hey, I got better in the offseason. I learned from my mistakes in the regular season. I'm actually the best left guard that we have on this team. And the more opportunities you can do to show that, the better for the player.
That's Ben Leber. It's 10:27. I'm Paul Allen. When we return, we'll get into some of the nuance of the Minnesota Vikings schedule that was released last night, and also discuss the Timberwolves because Ben is somebody who's howling very hard right now. Brett Blakemore produces. He got the money to give away.
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest. Head to KFAN.com. The keyword is check. The keyword check, KFAN.com, keyword check. Bonus Bucks is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. That's every hour from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. 10 keywords and to learn more, head to KFAN.com. Bonus Bucks is presented by BigDeck.com.
Wintersville sounds better in FM. Football Feast.
What do you think of the schedule from Ben Johnson's head coaching debut versus Beefalo all the way to the dreaded Packers here in Week 18? What do you think?
Well, I do like the way the first 5 games line up for us. I think it's great. I mean, it's excellent. You get 2 primetime games to start off with. The whole world's going to be watching. Everybody's got interest in McCarthy, and rightfully so, which, I think all the attention is good for this franchise and for all of us fans. So that'll be really fun. I think you get Ben Johnson at a good time. Now, they're going to have, more than a week to get ready for us, so they'll have some stuff up his sleeve. He always does. Even on a short week, he's going to have something up his sleeve. So we'll have to watch out for that. But it's probably an ideal time to attack their offense just because, they're going to try to figure themselves out too. So it'll be a little bit of a battle there of 2 young quarterbacks with, basically new offenses and see what they look like. And then we get the Falcons at home on Sunday night. I love the fact that we're getting Pittsburgh, in a neutral site. We're getting Cleveland at a neutral site. We get an early bye week for all the things that I just mentioned with a young quarterback where they can sit back and really self-scout early in the season, because that self-scouting is so important. For play callers, for new players in different positions. We have so many new faces on both the offensive line and defensive line in the cornerback room. For our coaches on an early bye to look at our team and say, here's where we have to make some adjustments. This is where these guys are good and where they're not good. I think it's really, really important. I know a lot of the vets on the team probably want a later bye.
Yeah.
But I think for the health of the team going forward, it's kind of nice to have this early bye. And then, I'm sure you've talked about that Eagles through, basically, I'm not discounting the Bears and Packers and Seattle and stuff, but that Eagles, Chargers, Lions, Ravens.
Yeah.
That'll be a true test for us.
Yes.
And I think just because of the style that those teams play, the physicality that they play with, getting the Chargers with that, great defense, that great pass defense on a short week. If we can come out of those 4 games and feel like we hardened our skin a little bit, that'll make me feel really good about what our playoff chances look like.
Yeah, I take it a step farther, actually. Weeks 3 to 10 have some gauntlet, but we knew they were coming. And, these quarterbacks, man, they're all crafty and good. And teams too. Like Burrow here week 3, Jalen week 7. You're at Herbert on a short week. Then Goff at Ford Field week 9. Lamar here week 10. Just listen to that. And Cincinnati Bengals identifiable with Burrow and Chase, Burrow and Higgins, things like that. But they have a really, really physical defense, too. Everybody in the AFC North tries to beat you up, run around you, and throw over you. So you got Burrow. Now you got the 2 AFC North teams. You're right, for sure, that playing them at a neutral site absolutely is different than playing at Pittsburgh and or Cleveland. But then just when you come up for air, you get the champions out of the break with Jalen Hurts. And you also have 2 short week games. I think the Lions may have 3. The Lions, I think, ended up with 3 Thursday games. The Vikings, 2. They're at the LA Chargers week 8 after the Eagles. And then after playing at the New York Giants, short week Christmas, middle of the day against the Lions. So as from a player standpoint, 2 short weeks, not favorable.
No, it's not favorable, but it seems like it's not new either. These guys are going to know how to prepare. All these teams have to do basically the same thing.
Right.
So is it a tough schedule? Sure it is.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of primetime games to bring a lot of juice? Absolutely. The thing that I look at this schedule and from a player's standpoint, from just a coaching standpoint, this is going to be very difficult because I'm not saying that there is, as you mentioned, sort of you come up for air during the bye week. There are some times where you find yourselves looking at the schedule, and if there's a little bit of a 2 or 3 weeks in there in the meat of the schedule where you feel like, okay, we're the superior opponent, we can kind of just be on cruise control a little bit. We can get through these games, and then we can build ourselves up for the final push. Sometimes that happens. with this schedule, there's zero opportunity for those moments.
Right.
Every single week when they come in on Wednesday morning, it is get yourself ready, buckle your chin straps. Yeah. We've got another tough one this week. And you get into that late November, early December, and it does wear on you. Your body's beat up, you're mentally and physically exhausted, but yet it's an unrelenting schedule. So it'll be interesting to see how we're prepared, how we execute, how clean we play later in the season, how healthy that we can be. And then there's no reason if we can get through, I think, a bulk of this season that we're a playoff-bound team. And then hopefully, like I mentioned earlier, too, that, we are sort of battle-tested. We do have tough skin. We do realize that we can play with anybody. We can be physical in the trenches. We can air it out if we need to. We can rely on a run game if we have to. We just don't have to rely on a pass rush. Maybe we get some help from the back end with some takeaways and stuff like that. So I'm very, very excited and very curious how we finish this season.
Nacho, it's strange even at schedule release time that there are 3 teams on anybody's schedule where you cannot absolutely identify who the quarterback will be. I mean, maybe one if there's like a ballyhooed battle between a hot rookie and a veteran who's not done. But at Pittsburgh, probably Rodgers, but not certain.
Right.
At Cleveland, no idea. Mm-hmm. At the Giants, no idea. I mean, there is a chance that we could hook Shedeur Sanders in London. I mean, there's a chance, right?
Yeah, there's a chance. I mean, the thing is, that is always a little bit of a wild card when you don't know who the quarterback is going to be and how they're going to run their offense. I mean, we've certainly done it, when we've had quarterback injuries and we have backup quarterbacks that come in and look at the astronaut. I mean, just there sometimes is some magic with some of these guys that get in these opportunities, these 2s and 3s. So we'll see early in the season, hopefully if it is Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't have his feet quite underneath him yet, and we can catch him stumbling a little bit. The Browns will be interesting. And then, I'm not worried about the Giants at all. I mean, that'll probably be Jackson Dart's time. I mean, at least by that time. So right. You'll have at least a few weeks to see what that offense looks like with Jackson Dart. But being the fact that they're all the way at December 21st, I'm not thinking about it too much right now.
All right, let's close with this. The Detroit Lions are the team to beat in the division, for they have the division crown. The Chicago Bears with the new head coach and some newfangled players, they'll be interesting. But the Green Bay Packers always draw a lot of attention when schedule release day takes place. So let's go game by game quickly and identify quick twitch with the right to change the opinion. W's and L's for the Green Bay Packers.
All right.
Game 1 at Lambeau. Lions at Lambeau.
L. That's an L.
That's an L. I mean, Detroit never loses at Lambeau anymore. Week 2, Washington Commanders at Lambeau.
That's an L.
L. Week number 3 at Cleveland. It's a noon game.
That's a dub.
At Dallas, week 4, Sunday Night Football.
That's a dub.
All right. 2-2 into the bye. Early bye for the Green Bay Packers. Holy cow. Out of the bye Sunday, October 12th, Cincinnati and Joey Burrow at Lambeau Field.
That's a dub.
That's a dub? Why?
They have issues on defense.
Yeah.
I think that they'll, it might be a shootout, but I think they win that one at home.
All right. Next week, at Arizona. Green Bay at Arizona, week 7.
That's an L.
That's an L. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Gannon's defense go crazy.
Yep.
3-3 through 6. Week number 8 at Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football.
Dub.
Dub against Rodgers. Rodgers against his old squad.
Yeah. I mean, I sort of agree with the sentiment that it might be Mike Tomlin's first losing season, and I could probably get on board with that.
Week 9, Carolina at Lambeau, noon game.
Dub.
Okay, so we got 5 victories. Double B, what's that Panthers game is a gold package game. What's the gold package with Lambeau Field or the Packers? Any idea?
So I believe, I'm not 100%, but I believe that's the Milwaukee bit to where the Milwaukee season ticket holders get preference for it.
Cool. Week 10, after a 5 predicted victory so far by the Nacho Man, the Philadelphia Eagles come to Lambeau Field for Monday Night Football. Who wins that one?
Philly.
Okay, still on 5 for Green Bay. Next, at the New York Giants.
That's a loss.
For the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Hey.
That defensive line, That defense is going to chew them up.
Yeah, the free agents, Jonah Jackson and all that, by this stage of the season, they're going to want nothing to do with Dexter Lawrence, ain't no doubt about it. They host the Minnesota Vikings Sunday, November 23rd.
Obvious loss.
Okay, so we're stuck on 5. Then they play Thanksgiving at Detroit.
Loss.
Okay, then the Bears at Lambeau Field, noon, week 14.
That'll be a dub.
Yep. At Sean Payton at the Anti-Vike, week 15 at Denver.
Sorry, it's a mile-high loss.
Then at Chicago, it's either 3:30 or 7, but it's week 16 at Soldier Field for GB.
It's a loss.
Why?
Yeah. It's Lambeau late in the season.
No, it's
Soldier Field late in the season.
Yep. And Ben's going to have them rolling by then.
He'll have everything figured out by then.
The penultimate, the Packers host the Baltimore Ravens.
Loss.
And they
L.
and they close the season at the palatial purple paradise known as U.S. Bank Stadium.
L.
All right, so 6-11. That doesn't make sense. 6-11 doesn't make sense.
A total flip from last season with a hurt Jordan Love all year long, and a total flip to 6-11.
Blake Moore's feelings are hurt.
No, I'm just writing it down. That's all.
Got a super special Green Bay Packers sweatshirt on right now. He just hurt his feelings.
I know you can keep the receipts. I don't care. I mean, you can circle back on Jan 1 and we can talk about this, but I don't see where I'm wrong.
I think they'll win 8. I don't know which ones they're going to be, but I think they're going to get 8. 8 and 9's not bad, right, Double B?
Is it in the playoffs?
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
All right, you got to go. We'll watch you on TV today, Channel 5, 3 o'clock, TCL. Yeah, you know we. And I'll see you next week. Thank you.
Yeah, see you next week. Love you.
Love you too. That's Ben Leber, our beloved Nacho, courtesy of Maple Grove Lock and Safe. And by the way, don't forget once again, 3 o'clock today, Channel 5, Twin Cities Live, featuring our beloved Nacho Leber. Hey, here's the deal. T-Wolves, Western Conference Finals bound. Hey, let's get the talkback machine rolling right now. We're going to have 3 segments of talkbacks. The first is next. Free iHeartRadio app. Find that little microphone, up to 30 seconds on the accomplishment that has been achieved by your Minnesota Timberwolves. And, you know, we've been soft pedaling this a little bit this week, you know, kind of like, wow. I mean, what if after 3.5 decades of the core 4 of pro sports teams, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves that bring home a crown. That they bring home all of the shine as champions. First time in 3.5 decades for a pro sports championship. That would be phenomenal. So you can go ahead and dream about that a little bit, or talk back and chat about the Timberwolves and what you're liking and what you're loathing right now into the Western Conference Finals. Who would you prefer and why? Oklahoma City or Denver? Free iHeartRadio app, baby microphone, KFAN, talk back and text more than people know, and we'll start playing them back next segment.
The legendary Bryan Adams is set to wrap up his Roll with the Punches tour at Target Center November 26th, and you could be there. Check out our contest page to see how you could enter to win a pair of tickets. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest. Enter today.
Out Charlotte, North Carolina way at Quail Hollow Club for the PGA Championship, the second of 4 majors in the world of PGA. Ryan Fox and Alex Noren each are 5 under, and Fox is through 17. Noren is through 15. They are tied for the lead atop the leaderboard. Luke, I'm your father. Luke Donald is 4 under through 16. And then after that, you got a bevy at 3 under. JT Poston, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Stephen Yeager, Max Grazerman, Keegan Bradley, and Justin Lower. Scotty Scheffler is 1 under through 11. PGA, day number 1, taking place right now. And from the frozen pond in the world of the National Hockey League, last evening, Florida went to Toronto and beat them so badly, it should be felonious in 48 states. Ooh! I mean, they're up 1-0 at the end of the first period. Then they put 3 on Toronto. At Toronto, we're talking about an original 6 town and a team from South Florida, Sunrise, Florida, right next to Fort Lauderdale. So you have this non-original 6. You got this bastard 6 team rolling in and beating the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-1, and they lead the series 3-2. They have a chance to close that bad boy out tomorrow. I would imagine Florida closes Toronto tomorrow. Wouldn't you agree, Brett?
I would agree. Yeah, they were literally throwing jerseys on the ice in Toronto.
Oh, they were that mad?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's getting bad.
Well, they can go ahead and throw the Matthew Nyes jersey the way of St. Paul.
I always love that one.
If they are so inclined. Also, Edmonton beats Las Vegas 1-0 in overtime. And that series is over. Damn. Ding dong. Vegas is dead. 4-1 Oil. The Oil advance. Holy cow. 4-1. Any surprise there?
I mean, when you have elite goal-scoring talent like that with McDavid and Draisaitl, and they've got the supporting cast, you can cover a lot of things, and they just outscored Vegas. And simple as that, really.
Your Twin Enigmatics have won 10 in a row, and they hooked the Baltimore Orioles about 35 minutes from now, maybe 40. The game takes place at Baltimore. Twins have won 10 in a row. They swept a doubleheader yesterday out to Baltimore way, and Chris Paddock toes the rubber for the Minnesota Twins today. The A topic in the local sports market involves the Minnesota Timberwolves. After dispatching of LeBron James and Luka Doncic, they hook Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. Then 13 minutes into the first game, an awful game for Finchie's bunch, Curry goes down, and he's never to be seen again. Jimmy Butler lacked luster most of the series, and the Timberwolves had a rather decisive victory last evening over Golden State, and they played the winner of Oklahoma City and Denver. Those two teams hook up in the Mile Get High City this evening. Oklahoma City is a 4-point favorite in the game, and they lead that series 3-2. So let's go Nuggets. Let's go Nuggets. Let's get the money tonight at Ball Arena, stretch that thing to 7, and see what happens from there. Timberwolves talkbacks here. Then the analyst joins about 10 minutes from now, a little less than that, to talk about the Viking schedule and more. Then after that, we're going to have a good 40-some-odd minutes to play your talkbacks, hear your name on the radio, and have you opine on whatever's on your mind involving the Minnesota Timberwolves advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the second consecutive year. And we shared this earlier in the radio show. Let me get back into the text machine. Aaron Freeman is part of the Timberwolves media relations team, and he informs us the Timberwolves have become the first Minnesota men's sports team to reach the conference finals in consecutive seasons since the Minnesota Vikings reached the NFC Championship games in 76 and 77. 86, 96, 06, 16. Damn, man, we're at a half century. See? What if involving all of the core 4 of pro sports teams, Vikings, Wild, Twins, and Timberwolves? What if it's the Timberwolves who scratched that metaphorical 3.5 decade of championship L's itch? Wow. It's reasonable to think that. This is a very, very good basketball team, and they can beat you myriad ways. They can miss 43s in a game and still find a way to beat you. They can be minus 17 at the free throw line like they were last night and still beat you by double digits. Dante DiVincenzo can be that of scorn for some, and then he steals it 4 times. 2 were super, super key, and his 3 got hot last night. So the Timberwolves, they're heading into the Western Conference Finals with a gavotte. I mean, this is a saunter. I mean, they're just cruising into that thing in chill fashion. Let's see what Hal Nation has to say. Talkbacks, and here they are.
Hey, PA, it's Max from Egan. The Timberwolves can win against any team in the league, and I am very confident about that. But if we turn the ball over like we did last night, we're going to get swept by the Thunder. because I'm guessing the Thunder's going to beat the Nuggets tonight probably, and they will run circles around us if we don't take care of the ball. So that's the one thing we got to focus on. But yeah, if we play well, we can beat any team in this league.
Max, I feel what you're saying there, brother. The Timberwolves could lose the turnover battle to OKC every game, and they're not going to get swept. Okay, they're too good to get swept. And there was a game back in February where the Wolves turned it over a million times, were down like 25 points, and then they came storming back and caught OKC and beat them at Oklahoma City. The turnovers have to decrease. There's no doubt about it. It can't be as willy-nilly, and it can't be as loosey-goosey as it was in this most recent series. I completely understand what you're saying. I'm not ruling out the Denver Nuggets yet, because Oklahoma City has jacked around with this series so much, man. They were at home in a game many thought they would win by 15 or more. They're down 7 going into the fourth quarter. David Adelman's doing awesome work with the Denver Nuggets. And yeah, I think OKC will win tonight. But I wouldn't be surprised if Denver won tonight. Let's just get 7 out of this thing. One more talk back, then a pause.
What's up, PA? It's Aaron from Little Canada. I'm going to say something controversial, copyright Dan Cole.
That's interesting.
I just love seeing Jimmy Butler flame out in the playoffs. You know what? He's got credibility built up for some of his play, but his antics forcing his way out, Miami, Philly, Minnesota, I mean, he's selfish. And last night, just a complete disaster. I love it. He can go all the way to Cancun and drink his overpriced coffee.
Yeah, I was very disappointed in Jimmy Butler. You're right. He was an absolute buzzkill this series, except one game he might have 36. It's okay. We don't know the severity of the hip, the pelvic injury he had. Like, what was he pushing through? Because he had to play without Steph. And then there was an illness in game 4, but he just was not engaged last night. And he refused to shoot the last 2 games. He just wouldn't shoot the ball. He had a little checkout to him. And that would be selfish. And he's been called that before. And perhaps it was on display last night. Very good talk back. Keep filing them in, because after we chat football with the analyst, we're going to have 2 full segments to hear from you on your We Text and Talk Back More Than People Know leader, FM 100.3 KFAN. This is your audio sports leader.